Okay, cool. So do let me know if you see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool then. So what exactly we are is, since it's a day one, we are going to get familiar with the Python programming language, how to do that, what exactly is Python, is it a snake or is it something else that we have to discover right now. So to do that, when you do programming, you always use an editor, okay, where you can type something and you get something. So there's a lot of editors in the market, major being amongst like VS Code, PyCharm, Atom, and most of them, all of them. So we aren't going to use that as of now because it will gonna consume much more time for the installation, and the entire session will go and flourish that way. So for that, today we are going to use the Google Colab. Okay. Now I tell you that how can you access that Google Colab. Okay. So you simply have to be logged in via one of your Gmail account, and you just have to search for the drive over here, and you can see that Google Drive over here. Just click on that. You can access. I just access with this account. See, cool. Let me go to my drive. Change my account from here. Okay, so you can see that I made a folder called Shape AI Data Analytics. You can go up, and now you have to have a collaborative notebook. So how can you access that? Over here on your left hand side, you can see there's a button called New. You just have to click on that, and then you have to click on More. And as you click on the More over here, you can see that there's an option called Google Collaborate. In most of you, they might have chances that it might not appear. Then what you have to do, you have to click on the bottom option where it's written Connect More Apps. Click on that, and then you have to search for Google Collaboratory on your console. Let's see that. It's going to consume more time. Let me just. Yeah, here it is. Okay, now you have to search for Google Collaboratory, and when you click on this, you'll get an option like here. Okay, you just have to click on this, and over here you get an option like install and whatsoever. You just have to install, and then you are ready, good to go with that. Okay, now how to use that? You just have to click on New, click on More, click on the Google Collab, and here you go with your first collaboratory notebook. Okay, do you have any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay, is it fine with you all, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
we can use Jupyter Notebook if we have, right?
Yeah, definitely. You can use Jupyter Notebook. You can use Collab. You can use any editor. But for a time being, like some might have not been have any editor installed. So for default, we are using Google Collab. Okay.
Sir, all
Thank you,
these
sir.
files would be shared, right?
Yeah, definitely. All this file will be shared, and all this video session will be shared with you. Okay. We don't need to have.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I want this session to be more interactive. Unless and until you ask, until unless we interact, this session would definitely don't has any value. Okay. Now, talking about
Yes, sir.
Python, I want you all that what exactly do you guys know about Python? You can speak up, right, please. Anyone?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. Python is a programming language. We can use it for a web development and analysis purposes.
Okay, cool. That's great. Anyone else?
It is an interpreted language.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Anyone else who want to add something new to this? We have got one thing that is a programming language. One we have got one is an interpreted language. Anything else about Python?
It supports OOPS concepts, sir.
Exactly. That's one more. The best part of this is suppose the OOPS concepts. That's great.
It
Anything else?
has a lot of built-in libraries.
Cool, cool. That's what Python is all about. So what we have got so far? We have got its programming language. Okay. Then someone said that it's being an OOPS, object-oriented programming. Then some might have said it's an interpreted language. Okay, and what was the last one? I didn't recognize it.
Built-in libraries, sir.
Exactly, that's the most powerful thing. Okay. So, you're right, guys. These are something that makes Python more prominent, more famous, more attractive, and more agile. So, it is a programming language, definitely, which you can use for programming. That's a very basic thing. You can use the OOPS concept that has a classes, instance, and inheritance, various types of based functions we can use to make it more powerful to use in a abstracted way. Now this thing is the majorly concerning about what do you understand by interpreted language. Can anyone tell me about that, please? What do you guys know about? Yeah, please.
Interpreted language means the code is executed line by line.
Okay.
Means at a time only a single line is executed, and if there is an error, then we can immediately resolve it.
Okay, cool. That's a really great explanation. Anyone else want to add something new to it?
No, sir, agree with the previous definition.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so why it is being, this thing, why are we discussing about that it is an interpreted language? Is there anything else than an interpreted language? One is being the compiler language. Okay. One is being the compiler language, and which all language does use the compiler language? Can anyone tell me what's name some of the languages that use the compiler language?
C++,
Java.
C++.
Cool. C, C++, Java. Anything else? Okay, let it be till C, C++, Java. What exactly does it means about compiler? What exactly does it means about the interpreter? Okay, let's understand this now. Okay, just understand there's a one person and there's another person. Okay, let's call this person as he's from Spain. And
Sir, excuse me.
yeah.
Sir, are you writing something? We can't see it if you are writing anything.
Okay, you're not able to see that?
No, sir.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
So we only see the collab page.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
give me a second. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes, sir.
visible.
Okay, cool. So one is just assume that a person is from a Spain, another person is from, you can say, Germany. Okay. Now this person from Germany says hello to this person in Spain. Okay. This person says like it's in hello. That's how you call in Germany. Okay. Now, the Spain person didn't recognize what exactly this person has been saying. The person might saying, "Hey, I'm learning Python," but he is saying in a German language. But the person over here in the Spain, who's living in the Spain, knows only Spanish. But definitely, he's not able to, recognize or understand what exactly the person, a German person, is trying to saying. Now, there's come a person, a third-party person, which is been called as interpreter. Okay, or if I can say this is the person whose name, who is a translator. What this person, let's talk about the feature of this person. This person is the one who knows German, and at the same time this person also knew Spanish. So the process, instead of going the process from this way to this way, now the process is going from this way. Now the German people tell the translator, tell that Spanish person hey, how are you? Now this translator translates whatever the German people has told him, and he or she will gonna translate it, things, and use the proper ways and just translate that word into Spanish. And the Spanish person will get to know, okay, now that person is saying me hi, how are you? And the same goes on, goes on. Okay. Now this thing, if you can see, is known as compiler. Okay, if this person is a German, this person is Spanish, and this person knows Spanish as well, and this person knows German as well. So do you think that there is any need of this translator if the both of the person knows each other's language? Do you think that?
No, no, then there is no need of translator.
Exactly, there's no need of translator. If I know Spanish and that person knows German, then we can easily communicate with each other. That's what exactly a compiler is. Okay, now this Spanish person is actually, who is this? It's a machine. Okay, this person is the machine. When I say machine, it's a computer, it's a system, laptop, whatsoever. And this person, who is this person? This person is the user. When I say user, it means us. Okay. Now, C and C++ and Java uses the compiler language. Okay, they're the compiler language. They use the compilation part. What they do is they takes the input from the user and they directly communicates with the machine. They don't need any barrier. They don't need any interpreter to communicate with the machine. They just simply communicate with the machine and tell them, please do our work, and that's it. That's why these languages are more faster than Python. Okay, these languages are more faster than Python, and the only drawbacks that Python holds is that it is slower. Okay, the drawbacks of Python is that it is slower. This is the, let's move on to the drawback. This is the drawback, that it is slower. So it is an interpreted language, definitely, but it has a major drawback that it is slower. Why? Because the conversation, just understand this part, that a person who knows only German sends a message to a translator, hi, how are you? This translator takes some time to translate that message into Spanish and then present it to the screen. So now you can see that the time consumption, when we are involving the third party, when we're involving the translator, the time consumption is much more than before where we don't have a translator, right? That's why it is more slower. Python is more slower. But okay, when we are saying that it's an interpreted language, so does it holds any advantages? Because we are mentioning that it's an interpreted language, so it should have an advantage. What exactly the advantage is? The main advantage of the Python being an interpreted language and having an interpreter or a translator in between, that it is easy to be understandable. That's simple. That's the simple as it is. Why Python is more in demanding, though it has a drawback that it is slower, but why we actually use Python the majority of the time, it is because it is easy to be understandable. Okay, why and how, let's see. Suppose, okay, now suppose let's say I want to print my name is like, my name is Sahil. Okay, I want the system that I'm giving this variable. So let me just, yeah, let me name a variable such as name equals, sorry, okay, name equals to this. Now what I'm telling the computer or the system, that I have assigned a value in a variable and I want to print that variable name. Now talking about a compiler language, how does a compiler language does it and how does an interpreted language do it? Okay, compiler language. Okay, and then we're gonna have as an interpreted language. Cool. Okay, when I say compiler language, I'm talking about C, C++, and Java, that all use like compiler language. And when I say interpreted language, it means we are talking about Python. Okay, now let's understand. Now, first, the compiler language is much more difficult because we know that it directly communicates with the machine. It does not use any translator, does not use any interpreter. It directly communicates with the machine. So when you communicate with the machine, we all know that machine can only cannot understand English, cannot understand Spanish or other language. Not he, but it will only want to understand the binary language. Okay, the binary language is 0
Or one.
and 1. Is it 2 or 3 as well?
No.
Or 4? Come on, guys, speak up. Is it 4, 3, 2, 1? Anything?
No, it's
Zero
zero
and
and
one.
one
No,
only.
sir. And one.
Exactly. Now, this is the only language that the computer understands. So what exactly the compiler do is, it will gonna take up this string. The machine doesn't know what exactly it is written here. The machine says, I am not bothered enough what exactly you are going to do. Just give me a form, something like 0110011, and I understand that up and print you something like this. So the process, in this process, that's why when we code in C, that's why when we code in C++ and Java, we often find out a very difficult things to go on and on. First we have to declare like import the packages. Suppose if we are talking about Java, then we have to import java.util.io or static file, and then we have to go on and write several lines of code, and this only writing this line of code will gonna consume you like 5 to 8 lines. Okay, and if you're talking with Java, then we have to print this particular variable. We have to write system.out.println. This ln stands for the line. Okay, and then you have to print your variable. Okay, so that's how it goes in Java. That's how it goes in C and C++ are different language, but they follows the same perspective of the compilation language, and that's why it is much more difficult while you work on C, while you work on C++ and Java. In Python, you can say it's a very straightforward process. Python says whatever job you want to do, I'll gonna do that. You want me to print this name? You don't need to import any packages. You don't need to define. You don't need to do in such a way that I can convert it into 0 or what's a binary form. You just write it down in a very pretty English form, and rest I'll gonna do it because I am the interpreter. So we have a function called print function. And over here, I can say print the variable name, and that's it. That's it, guys. So Python, what Python takes, it will say, okay, you have done this. Now from here, I'm going to take this up and going to take the help from interpreter, translator, whatsoever. And that interpreter and translator will going to convert this kind of code into a binary form, and it will gonna send this thing to machine. Okay, is machine can be a system, anything. Okay, machine, and this machine will, as soon as the machine will get in a binary form, it just return itself in a binary form as well, because it communicates in only binary form. It doesn't know English, Spanish, as I've already mentioned before. Now this interpreter not only converts our language to the machine language, but vice versa as well. It converts the machine language into our language as well, so that when we are getting an output, it is in our form. It is in our understandable form. It is a human understandable form. Okay, so that's why Python is very easiest, and it's very popular, because if you know English, you know Python. That's it. Okay, so last thing that I want to discuss about Python is how Python got its name, because it's a very rare thing. Like if we see much of the programming language, some might have C, some might name as yeah, Some might name as C, some might name as C++, Java, COBOL, and plenty more. Okay, I think there's a person who has opened their video. Could you just switch off your video, please? Okay, cool. Okay, now but why Python? What the exactly the history behind like getting the name Python? It could be anything. It could be like Java plus plus, or if you're introducing something, it might be programming plus plus. But why Python? So what exactly happened? The creator of Python, it's Mr. Guido van Rossum. Okay, I write his name down over here. Okay, Mr. Guido van Rossum, it has a very wide history that how he, fall under Python, why there's a need of Python. Because at that time, like late 19th, there's a lot of programming language like C and C++ had a great grip. Even the Java has a great grip, but there's only one difficulty is like programming and coding in these languages are more difficult. To understand this languages, to code in this language is much more difficult. So what does Guido and Rassam thought that why not introduce something new that will be more easier, that will be more helpful, that will be more in a agile way gonna help us to communicate with machine. Though it might take be a slower part, though it might take or consume much more time, but let at the beginning state, why not create something that will be much more understandable? So he introduces a programming language. For timing, I just write it as a programming language. So he introduces a programming language, but how does it get its name? So you might have known, or I would gonna tell you that this was the name Python has been given by a BCC TV show. That TV show name was, I just write it down. Show name was Monty Python's Flying Circus. So one evening, Guido van Rossum was watching the television, and he was watching a show, a BBC show called Monty Python's Flying Circus, and that's how he got a name. He was very impressed by the name Python, so that's how he got a name. Like, why not put the name Python as for our programming language? So from then, this Python has been named as the newly programming language that we are discussing now, that we have been using worldly wide. Okay, but the only issue was a Python was when it got released, it was not at all famous. Okay, when something you get to know that, oh, we can do Python, we can do web development with Python, data analytics with Python, but in that time Python was not in a much a boom. At that time Java was at a very high level. People was using Java, they were switching from C++ to Java. But in the early 20s, Python people get exploring the Python's the strength of the Python, why and how we can use Python, in what field you can use Python. So what the people started doing is, the people started to make the various libraries for Python. Because when people find out that programming in Python is much more easier, then people have started like, why not create some libraries for Python? Why not create some frameworks for Python and what's not? Okay. Now, until date, what exactly you can do with Python? Okay, let me show you. Is my screen visible to you? You can see a collapse screen over here.
No, no,
Yes.
it's visible.
No. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Now is it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can see.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about some of the Python feature. Now let's take for example C++ and Java. They have certain limitation. Okay, they have certain limitation. You cannot use C++, Java at anywhere else rather than, there has a boundary. They had a boundary. You cannot use them beyond their boundary. But talking about Python, there's the boundary stretches at a very extreme level. With a Python, you can use it at any of the domain. You don't need to be more afraid like if I'm using C++ At some point of time, I found that, oh, I want to develop a backend service. Can I use with C++? Oh, at that point of the time, I am doing the data analytics. Can I use C for the C++? No. Okay, there are some certain boundary, but using Python, you can do a lot of things. So let's talk about some feature. Easy to write. We have already understand why it is easy to write, because it has an interpreter. It has a particular agent that can convert our languages into machine language, so that we can, easily understand it. We can easily write it, and we can easily get an output. Next is easy to understand, definitely, because it's as simple as knowing an English language. We have the OOPS concepts over here that some might have, you have already told us that it has OOPS concept. Robust standard libraries. It has a wider range of libraries that has been available for any programming
Excuse me, sir.
language. Yeah, please.
Sir,
Hello.
can you explain OOPS concept?
Yeah, we can, but the OOPS concept come upon the next classes, so we can go on and on by one topics. Okay. I can see someone is writing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so we are talking about the only thing that we are, we are studying in today's class. We are going to take the doubts for the today class as well, because if some might have arise a question like what's a data analytics, and we are going to jump into another topic, then that won't be benefiting for the all of us. Okay, cool. For the time being, just understand it. It use an OOPS concept, and when I say it use an OOPS concept as a feature, then OOPS might be something as a greater powerful weapon or tool for us. Okay, now it has very like we can use as a database in a GUI programming. You can make games, you can make databases with Python, you can make backend service with Python, you can create a website with Python, you can create data analytics with Python, you can do machine learning with Python, and you can do several other things. You can use make a softwares, you can make a GUI with Python and whatnot. Okay, it's portable, scalable, integrated. So these are something about Python. And the one more thing that I want to, the last and the least thing that I want to add about the Python feature, over here you can see what it is written: free and open source. So could any one of you tell me what exactly do you mean by the term free and open source? Please.
It is free to download.
People can
You can
contribute something
easily download and use it.
to everyone.
Okay, it is easily to download. Anything more?
Open source means that more people
any
can add
platform.
to it.
Okay, one by one, please.
It can be used by anyone.
Okay, it can be used by anyone. That's great. Anything more?
Can be
People
modified
can-
by anyone.
Yeah, people
It
can
can
add
be running
anything.
any platform.
The source code is
Source
easily
code available. No?
Source
Can
code
use it on
available.
Windows,
That's the
Linux,
best
and
thing.
MacBook.
Exactly. So what does open source means? That the source code is available. Okay, open source means that source code, you can see this Microsoft Paint screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, the open source means that the source code of the Python is available. So that's the most powerful thing about any of the programming language, any of the framework, that what exactly it is. The source code means that people can take the source code from GitHub or any other service. They can understand the code, how the programming language acts, how the Python exactly doing its work. And even you can create your own programming language. You can introduce your own programming language with the help of Python. That's a major advantage of being the source code, open source. Okay, you can contribute in the open source as well. Suppose one day you find out that if I'm writing print hello world is not working. Okay, one day you find out that print hello world is not working. When I'm running this command, I'm getting an output as somewhat around WRLD hello. So it's some sort of reversing. Okay, you find out, oh, it's a reversing. Now what I can do, should I drop an email that complains? Should I drop? Now Python isn't working in such a way, so should I go from jump from one programming language to another programming language? No. If you really find out that there's a problem in a programming language, if you really find out there's a problem in any of the part of the programming language, you can easily create an issue. You can easily sort that out as well, and you can easily get your issue and get your error fix bugs to be appended in the source code for the Python. And it's a very greater achievement, to get your function or get your bug free function to be uploaded and to be added in a source open source programming language or any platform. Okay, so it's provide a wider range for that. Now we have talked about a lot of theory part. Now let's do some practical work. Okay, now before starting, just tell me that how many of you know basics of Python and how many of you are novice at it. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah,
We are
everybody's
typing in
replying in the
the
chat.
in the
Everybody
chat
replied in
section.
the chat.
Okay, everyone is writing in the chat. Let me just. Okay, only basics, only basics.
I say I'm a novice. I've been using Python for now 2 years, 2.5 years. So
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, only basics, only basic. And I see someone has wrote don't know. Okay, cool. Not an issue. Don't know basics. Okay, that's it, guys. Let's start now. Okay, so let's start. You can see my screen for Google Colab, right? Is it?
Yeah.
yeah, it's visual.
Okay, cool. So let's create a section over here. So this is for the day one shape AI. Okay. Let me move forward. Now let's write the very first programming language that we have just not saw that. Suppose if I want to print my name, if I want the machine to tell, hey, print something. So in the other programming language, it is much more difficult because you have to write a lot of code. It might be somewhere around 5 lines of code, 6 lines of code, depending on the programming language. But in Python, it's very straightforward. I say, hey, Python, just print me. The Python say, what do you want me to print? Hey, I want to print hello world. That's it. Okay. Let's run. How to run this code? You just have to, come to this shell and you have to click on control and then enter. And let's see. See, the Python says hello world. Now let's talk about this thing. Now the print function as is very straightforward. It says to print something. This function takes an argument. Let's talk about the print function. Let me comment out this code. What is this print function? Okay, the print function says that give me something and I will print that something. Okay, give me something and I will print that something. So when you are declaring a print function, you have to give the print function what exactly do you want to print. Like you when you print some documents, we are using a printer. You just give a command, hey, print that thing, and the computer asks what exactly do you want me to print. Then you says that, oh, this for following documents, kindly print these documents. Okay, now we are using a print function. Now we are using the declarative that what exactly we want to print. Okay, now this is a string. Okay, remember guys, this is a string. And what is string, what is integer, we are going to discuss in the upcoming session. Just for our time being, remember that the print function always takes an argument. It might be an integer, it might be a string, it might be a variable as well. Okay, what does it mean? Let's check this out. So we have seen for the string, like if I write print, now if I say print no, any number, like it might be 240. Okay, print 2409, and let's run this. Now you can see this prints an number called 240. But now some might says, hey, you have used one quotation mark over here, but why didn't you use over here? The only difference is that it's false. It's totally up to a data type. You can see this is a string data type and this is a integer data type. What exactly is a data type? I'm not getting up, right? What exactly, what is string? How do you define a string? How do you define integer? I'm not getting that up. So a quick tip, I can write it out. String means alphabets and integers means we are dealing with numbers. So in the following up the course, whenever I use this word string, just remember I'm talking about the alphabets. That's our English alphabets. That is from A to Z, and the numbers, that is 0 to 9. Okay. Now when I say that it's 240, now 240 is not a string. 240 is a number. Okay, whenever we are defining a number, whenever we're defining an integer, we never use any quotation mark, we just simply write it down. But whenever we are using a string, we always use this quotation mark. Okay, always remember that. Now let's think what happens if I write print without the quotation mark, hello world. Okay, now what exactly the interpreter will gonna think about? Okay, when I hit enter, this function takes up this argument, and in the backend it will check what is exactly is the data type for this. Is it integer, is it string, or whatsoever? Now when the interpreter goes on, it will check, I don't find any quotation mark, then definitely it falls under an integer. Okay, now when it reads the first letter, let's H, the interpreter get confused that H is not an integer. Then why am I getting an H as an integer? So let's check it out. What do you think when I run this program? What exactly will going to be the output? Yeah, please tell me.
Error in the data type.
Error.
Error in the data type. That's great. It's not only the error, it will going to be the error in the data type. What is the data type? These are the data types. String is one among a data type. Integer is another data type. And if we go on and on, we will find out we have float as one of the data type. We have boolean as one of the data type. We have list and all that data types. Okay, let's try to run this. Now see what it does. It shows me an error. Let's wait for the error. It says that invalid syntax. Why invalid syntax? Because this interpreter has already identified it as, first it identified it as an integer, which says, okay, it is an integer, it's perfectly fine. Let's go on. When the interpreter reads that it is an alphabet, it directly indicates that if it is using an alphabet, then definitely it is a string. And if it is a string, then you are using an invalid syntax. The syntax to declare a string is having the quotes, the double quotes. Okay, the double quotes. And now if we want to run this up, we're going to see our output. So that exactly a print function do. Okay, I just remove the code to see that we have the error over here. Okay, now we have seen that it can print anything. It can print an integer, it can print a string. Let's talk about variables. Okay, now what exactly is a variable? Anyone, please?
Name of the location.
A variable
Whose value
Stores
changes.
variable
It is
is
used to store the
Value holder.
value.
So
is basically a
one
container.
by one, please. One by one.
Variable is just container.
Variable is a container to hold any form of data type.
Exactly. That's the best ever, and the simplest answer. That's a variable is a container. That's it. A variable is a container. What exactly does it mean? Let's understand. Suppose I say print me that today is Sunday. Let me say that today is Sunday. Okay. Now I'm writing 1,000 of codes after that. Okay, I'm writing thousands of codes, and at some point of time I have came into a situation that I want to bring this code up again. Okay, now I want, like, after writing 1,000 code, now I want to print this thing up. Okay, the easiest way I can do that, I can just copy this up, print this up, and that's it. That's a very easiest way. But in programming, we doesn't follow this rule, because this causes a redundancy. What I call is a redundancy. Suppose if you want to recall this part like 1,000 of time, because when we write a code, it is not about 10 lines, it's not about 1,000 lines, it goes on and on. It's about the millions of lines. Okay, in the millions of lines, when you are calling this up, like you might have called 1,000 times print that today is Sunday. So it won't be working out in a greater way, and that's not as a better convention. So what we do is we just tell that, okay, why not assign this entire data type in a variable. Let me say that this is a variable. VAR is a container. What is a container? It is a box. In this box, I say I put this thing, I put a string. So whenever I call this box, that means whenever I open this box, what thing that I'll be able to see is this thing. Whatever the content is in the box, I am going to see that thing. Okay. Suppose if I have a box, I'll just give box, and in this box I put some what should I put? I put a phone. Okay. Now tell me, if I'm trying to open this box and someone else trying to open this box, what he or she will gonna find out in the box? Do he or she will gonna find out some chocolates, or gonna find out some laptop or a phone? Tell me, guys.
Phone.
Definitely a phone, right? Because I have already assigned this phone into a variable box. So whenever I'm calling this variable as box, this phone comes up. Okay. Now let's try out with this. I say that today is Sunday, and assign this this is a string, by the way. You have already guessed it because we are using the quotes in the variable. Let's run this up, and it has already been assigned in a var. Okay. Suppose I have written 1,000 of quotes, and now what should I write over here so that I can find out what exactly in this box? Tell me, please. What should I write over here?
Print word.
Print where?
Print box.
Not box, please. Box was an example. Okay, it has already been commented out. Okay,
Okay, then I'll be print war.
print where. So you are telling me I should go like this, is it?
Yes.
Should I go like this as well?
Inverted.
No, that will
No,
print
both
that
are-
will print VAR because
Okay.
that's a string instead of
Okay.
printing the content.
Okay, that's great. That's great. You got the concept of the string. It won't gonna print out me this thing up, because the interpreter, as soon as interpreter find out, oh, you are using comma or inverted comma or the quotation mark, definitely it is a string. Okay. Now let's try out with print where. Let's see what are we going to get. Exactly, we are getting the exact same thing, that is content in a container or a box. Okay. Now one more thing, guys, that you might since you may have been, very basic, you might have started from the basic, don't know, you might be thinking, hey, you have written this thing as well, you have written this thing as well, you have written this thing as well, but when you are running, why the only this portion of code is working? Anyone, please, can you tell me why only this portion of code is only
Rest
working?
are comments.
Comments
Rest
are
is
ignored.
commented.
Comments are
Exactly,
ignored.
exactly. These are called comments. Okay, these are called as comments, anything you want to recall. What exactly is comments? So comments are in information that the interpreter simply ignores. Okay, you can write it up for your, if I want to write this where is a variable. Now I'm saying remove this thing. Okay, so when I'm running this code up, let's see what what output I'm getting. So it shows me an error. Okay, let's see the what's an error. It shows that it is an invalid syntax. Why? Because when the interpreter starts, it says that neither you have defined a function, neither you have defined any variable. So what exactly do you want me to do with this? What exactly will I gonna do that? Do you want me to define it? Do you want me to give the length of this particular thing? What exactly? So the compiler says it is an invalid syntax because I don't know what exactly I have to do. Okay. So to define a comment, what you have to do, you can just put a hash sign over here, or you can put control plus slash, and that's as well will be a comment. So comment is suitable to read the what exactly the particular code is working. So if you're working in a software engineering firm, if you're working in a data analytics firm, this comment will definitely gonna help you in a more greater way, because it helps you to explain your codes before you run them. Okay. So to define a comment, what you have to do, you can just put a hash sign over here, or you can put control plus slash, and that's as well will be a comment. So comment is suitable to read the what exactly the particular code is working. So if you're working in a software engineering firm, if you're working in a data analytics firm, this comment will definitely gonna help you in a more greater way because it helps you to explain your codes before implementing it. Suppose I have this is the variable and this is the var is a variable. Now if 10 years after someone is going through my code, the person will never gonna start making logic like, oh, where has been assigned with this and this. No, the person will definitely start with the commented out code, what exactly the person has been trying to do, what exactly he's been looking to do, and then he or she will gonna make the logic. So the comment is a really great thing that you need to understand, and you need to have a great habit to comment out your code. Okay, so yeah, so we have a print where, and now where is a variables. Okay, now suppose if I say var, okay, now I run this code var, and now if I run where, okay, I'm not changing this thing, this variable name. So what does the output, what will be going to be the output that I'll be facing on? Please tell me.
Var is undefined.
Var is not defined.
It will show error because it will won't be able to recognize.
Yeah, please.
Empty it's not defined.
Okay, let's check it out. But it has still print me today is Sunday. Why? Anyone, please. Where is not defined anywhere? Come on, see, where is not defined? It is VARI, but still it is printing where. Anyone?
We have already run this.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing that why we are using this collaboratory. Okay. This shell is independent of this shell. Okay. Until and unless you change it, you cannot use it. Okay. What happens that when you are talking, working on an editor, you just get a single shell. You get a single page where you have to write a certain code, and then if you change any one of the particular code, it will gonna have the effect on the entire code. But in the collaboratory, it doesn't work the same. Okay, suppose, okay, let me write something as Monday. Okay, let me run this, and now if I'm running this, still I'm getting this is Sunday. But if I'm running VARI, it is showing me this today is Monday. Now it is taking this part, but it is independent of each shell. So you have to remember that's the beauty, you can say, of the collaborative, the beauty of a notebook. Like you can use Jupyter notebook, or you can use a collaborative notebook. So we have been using do you guys have any confusion using print function? Any confusion?
No, sir.
No. Okay, cool. You are clear with what is a string and what is an integer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now
Yes,
let's jump on to do some. Okay, before jumping on the topic, I want to know that which of the subject do you think is the most useful subject while doing the programming? Come on.
Data structures and analysis.
No.
Data structures and analysis.
Okay, you might have not listened to me.
Programming.
Nope, it's not a subject. Come on, guys.
English.
Nope, not
Mathematics.
Exactly. Mathematics is the major subject that has been used in any of the programming language, any of the, say any programming language, any data structures. If you're even using the data structure, you need maths. Even if you're using the data analytics, you need maths. Okay. So, and this session is not, this entire course of the 2.5 months is not about only the Python, right? If I'm not wrong, it's about the data analytics part, right? Hello.
So, Sir, we
Am I-
couldn't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
Am I audible to you now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay, so what I'm saying that during this 2.5 months, we are being trying to be more proficient in the field of data analyst, right? Data science, machine learning, AI maybe, definitely, or deployment and whatnot. So in this entire stuff, maths plays a very, very crucial role. Until and unless you know maths, you cannot do data analyst, You cannot do data science, you cannot do ML, AI deployment, you cannot do coding unless and until you know maths. Okay, and totally doesn't mean that if you're weak in maths, so you cannot do that. No, that's not the thing. We just use a very basic of maths, but maths plays a very foundational role in the field of computer science, in the field of any programming language or any domain such as data science, web development, evenly. Okay, let's do some arithmetics. Okay, let's do some arithmetics and learn about some operators. Okay, so how many of you know a basic addition and subtraction, multiplication of mathematics? Anyone? Some might have forgotten that, so we're gonna revive that up. Okay, cool. Okay, so what does this sign means? Can anyone tell me?
Plus addition.
Cool.
Addition.
This thing?
Subtraction.
Subtraction.
Okay. Now, what this sign means?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. But in the programming way, we aren't using this. We are using
Star.
this as
Asterisk. Star or asterisk.
asterisk, star, whatever you want to call it up. Okay. Now this one.
Division.
Division. Now this one.
Modulus.
Modulus. Okay. Thank God none have said me that it's a percentage sign. Definitely. Okay, when I was learning programming, definitely I misunderstood this one as a percentage. So every time I was using for the percentage program, I'm using this part. Okay. Now, what is this? We have already discussed.
Asterisk by multiplication.
Okay, if I add one more, what is it?
Raised to the power.
Exponent.
Raised to the power means
Exponent.
Exactly. And what's the alternative version of this as well? You can use this as
Cap.
up arrow as well.
Cap.
Okay, this thing as well. Either you can use this or you can use this. Okay. Now that's enough for now. Let's do some arithmetic. Now, what's the one more feature that I want to highlight about the notebook is that instead of writing the entire thing like print hello world, okay, instead of writing the entire thing, I can evenly write this way as well. Because by default, it takes up the print statement and it will gonna print what exactly is the last line of the code is. What exactly does it mean? So if I say one is written hello world, I will say let's write today is Monday and let's write Loki is cooler than Thor. Okay. Now tell me if I run this code, which of the line will going to be printed?
Last line.
Last line.
The final line.
This one? How many of you say this line or how many of you say the entire?
Entire.
entire.
Very cool. That's great. Anyone more? Do you want to add something?
Only last line.
Only last line. Why last line?
To only execute the present line in the collab.
Exactly. So let's recall one more thing that we have already studied. What exactly is an interpreter? Okay, it goes line by line, right? You have remembered that?
Yes.
Hello?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that or not? When we are discussing about the compiler
Yes,
and
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay, tell me
Yes,
what
sir.
is tell me what is an interpreter? Come on.
It executes line by line, sir.
Okay, it executes line by line, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when we run this code, it only prints the Loki is cooler than Thor.
Last line.
Why? Because this I have already mentioned, it will gonna print the bottom line only. Okay. Because it runs over here, it runs here. It says it compilers get a notice. Okay, I want to print this. I will gonna print hello world now. Now, as soon as it gets over here, it will say print this. Now the compiler say, or interpreter says, oh, earlier you were telling me to print hello world, now you are telling me to print today is Monday. Now interpreter will take the latest thing. Which among these two is the latest?
Today is Monday.
Today is Monday.
Today is Monday is the latest than this. Now the interpreter is very confident. Now I will gonna print today is Monday. And as soon as it moving to the next line, it will gonna find out there's one more line as well. Now, whom do you think the interpreter will going to give the priority? The last line?
The last
Last
line.
line.
Exactly, the last line. So that's how the interpreters goes on, and that's why we have got this. Even in the variable as well. Suppose if I assign this as A is equals to this, B is equals to this, and C is equals to this. Okay, I run this up, and now I say A, B, and C. Let's see. So it's printed the variable, the last variable. Okay. Even if I say C and B, then what do you think will going to be the output?
B.
Will it be a B? Or will it remain with the C?
C.
Will it remain with the C?
C.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
So it will be B.
It will
be
be
C.
B. It will be because as per for the interpreter, the last executing line is the order to print B. So it will be B.
It will be B, right? Some might have been saying that it will remain with the C because C has been mentioned over here as the last. Let's find out. Guys, it's B. But why B? Why? Some might have said that it will be C. Could you just open up and tell us why do you think that, so that we can, discuss that up. Come on, please. Some might have said C as well, right? If I'm not wrong. Okay, cool. Doesn't matter. So now what the thing is that when the print function applies over here, not here, because over here we have already telling the interpreter that what exactly are we doing. By default, it been print. Now when the interpreter runs from here, it gets a notice that a variable has been assigned. This entire thing has been contained in a variable. I don't need to print this up until and unless I have been called up. Now the same goes from here to here. The interpreter doesn't do anything. So when I'm running this code, see, I'm getting nothing as an output because interpreter knows that now by the default I've been using the print function, but over here that the user has already been defining that no, we are being using the container part. So we don't need the use of print function. But over here, when I'm saying that A, B, and C, the compiler, the interpreter goes on and it will say, hey, you haven't defined anything over here. You are not defining what exactly needs to be do with A. Do you want me to print the length of A? Do you want me to find the maximum in A? What exactly do you want to do? And since you have not mentioned, I will gonna assume that you are trying to do this thing. Okay, the interpreter thinks that by default you have not defined that what exactly do you want me to do with this thing. I'm going to define this as a print function and print that particular thing up. Now, though I have assigned the variables in a very defined way, that A, B, and C, but it's totally depend upon my callable callable method at how I call it. Okay, if I call it at C, B, and A, now what will going to be my output? Come on, guys.
A.
A.
A. Hello all. It will be
Exactly, it's A. So that's you have to remember every time how the interpreter works, and when you are working in the collab and how it is work, because in the data analytics fields, majorly of the time we often majorly more often we use the collab part because it is much more due to this functionality. Okay, let's now jump back to our topic and let's do some arithmetic. Now this is a very quiz. You have to tell me that what exactly will going to be the answer. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
So come on, what will going to be the answer?
5.
5.
5. Let's see. 5. Okay, if I say 7 plus 8, tell me.
15.
15.
15. Okay. Okay, let's do some trick. Print 7 plus 8. Now what will going to be the answer? Remember that I have used print function over here.
15.
15 only.
15.
Okay, yeah, 15.
Concatenation.
15.
Are you guys sure? Because I have used print function over here. Over here, I didn't use print. Are you guys sure?
Yes, sir.
78.
So
sir.
28, it will concatenate.
Here
Concatenate.
it'll concatenate.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Nope, it's still 15. But why didn't some might have expected an answer something like this, right?
Concatenation is only if it's in string format.
Exactly. The concatenation is only be based for the string part. Just remember this. So if I would have done like this, if I would have done like this, I would have presented that it is a string. Now this is a string. Now what will going to be my answer? Come on, guys.
7 plus 8.
78.
78.
78.
28.
78. What about this plus then? Won't it will going to print me like 7 plus 8?
Concatenating.
No, 78.
Concatenate.
Okay, let's
Here the
see.
plus is to concatenate the strings.
Testing much more. Okay, now we have 78. Let's now understand what exactly, why does it concatenate and how the concatenation actually works. Okay, let me remove this print function from here because it by default will want to take the same. Now when the interpreter starts up, it will gonna see that we have a quotation mark. Okay, and that directly let the interpreter know that we are working with string or integer. Hello,
The voice is breaking.
am I audible to you now?
No, sir.
Sir, you are not
Just
audible.
okay, just give me a second. Let me check. Is it fine now?
No, sir. Audible.
Am I audible to you? Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Now you
Yes,
are.
sir.
Yep, you're
Yes,
audible.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry guys for there's a distortion in the internet. Let me share my screen to you. Share your screen. Let's go on where we're talking about this. Share. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Let's check this out. So when the interpreter starts, it checks, okay, we are having a quotation mark, then it directly implement and take it and pretend to take it as a string. Now when it reaches at this final, it will say, okay, now I have got a opening inverted comma and the closing inverted comma. So whatever that has been contained in this is being a string. Now same goes for this thing, but what about this plus sign? Now when you're using a plus sign while doing the concatenation for the string, it simply is, merge it, or it simply is you can stick it like a favicol. Okay, it just simply stick that. It just takes 7 and they say plus and then it puts 8. That's it. It doesn't do the addition operation because an addition operation cannot be done with that in a string. It will always be done in a integer. Okay, so let's come up to the next thing. Tell me what we're going to be the answer for this.
8.
8.
Okay, Okay, now how about this one?
8.
8.
8.
8. Okay.
8.
And how about this one?
16.
16.
16.
16.
Sure? Are you guys sure?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 2 to the
Yes.
power 4.
Okay.
2 to
Cool.
the power 4.
That's great. So let me tell you that how this thing actually looks up. To all those who doesn't know that, let me share my screen. Let me know whether it's visible to you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
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 Okay. To those who doesn't know what exactly happens up, so you might have often seen that we are used to write like 2, and we used to write as 2 in the maths, right? 2 raised to power 2, and that sum gives us 4. In Python, to do this thing, 2 raised to power 2, we use the 2 asterisk or 2 star. For 1 asterisk, it means multiplication, and for the 2 asterisk, it means the exponential that we do. Okay, I think the doubt has been clear for now. Okay, let's come up to the main screen. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, the doubt,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, please.
Sir, this 2 asterisks for only 2 for 2, sir, not for 4.
No. Okay, let me just come back. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now to tell the computer, to tell the system, to tell the machine that I want to treat these two numbers, this one and this one, as an exponential form in this manner. So for this, I use 2 asterisk to tell the computer to do this. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
If I do 2 1 time asterisk and 2, now this will gonna tell the computer you have to perform this operation. 2 multiplied by 2, that will go into as 4. But if I'm using 2 double times the asterisk and then 2, it will gonna tell the system or the computer to treat it as 2 raised to power 2. That will also gonna give us 4. Okay, any more doubts?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Then
cool.
again, multiply with 2, sir.
Sorry?
Sir, now 2 power 2 is equal to 4.
Yeah.
Then this 4 is multiplied with 2, sir.
No.
The next operation.
No. The thing is, let me show you. If I say 2 raised to power 4, okay, that means 2 into 2, how many times? 4 times. Okay,
Okay.
this thing.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, this thing means this thing. So
Okay.
even if it is, okay, I'll just share my screen. Let's move back to the collab. Give me a confirmation. Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so if I say like 5 raised to power 4, it totally means 5 how many times? 4 times. Okay, this is a simple explanation for this thing, how this operator works. Okay, let me just comment this out. I think we should go with 225 divided by, oh sorry, I have already told you this is divide. Sorry. Now the answer, please.
45.
45.
Yeah,
45.
45. Anything more? Let's see. It's 45. But now, do you have any, you have seen any difference between these two's output? Any difference?
It is
Point
no
zero.
decimal
One
format.
is decimal,
Decimal
one is
format.
One by one, please. One by one, please. Yeah.
It's a float.
It is in decimal format.
It's a float?
Decimal.
Okay, but what I can see as a beginner, I can see that 0.0 has been added over here, but not here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, cool. What exactly happened is that now we have introduced another data type called as float. Okay, we have introduced integer, we have introduced string. Now we are going to use as float. So what exactly is float? Can anyone tell me, please?
It's a decimal form.
It's a decimal form. Cool. Anything more?
Sir, I don't think anything is stored there.
You don't think anything is stored over here?
Yes, sir, because you don't have a variable. It's just displaying it.
Okay, if I do this, now what do you think the output is?
A floating point value, sir, but nothing is stored there. It's just displaying the output.
I didn't get you. Could you please repeat yourself?
So you asked what is stored there.
No, I didn't ask what is stored there. I'd say what exactly is this? 0.0.
Okay,
Nothing
sir,
has been
sorry,
stored.
sir.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Nothing has been stored anywhere. Okay. Now, this is the float. Now, how do you want to check whether it's floats? One is the identification that 0.0. Okay, this is if ever we are going to face like point, then it is a float. If you're not going to get a point, it is a decimal point. Now, one more function that I want to introduce is the function called as type.
Type.
Okay, what does this type tells us? Okay, let's understand. I would say that there's a one person called A. He's from India. Okay, there's one person called B. He's from USA, and the third person is from Germany. Okay, now I have got the three passports from all these persons, and in their particular passport, there's a field called nationality. Okay, this nationality tells us that what exactly this person belongs to. Where does person belongs to? Does this person belongs to India? Does this person belongs to USA, Germany, whatsoever? Similarly, over here the type function is doing the same thing. The type function says that give me a parameter and I will tell you whether this particular thing, whatever has been inside me, where does this person belongs to? Does it belongs to a string family? Does it belongs to a float family? Does it belongs to a decimal family? Okay, so what exactly does it do? Let's find out. Let me comment it out. Let's check this one. 16, type 16. Tell me, what do you think will going to be the output?
Integer.
Integer.
String.
Integer. How many say that it's a string?
Sir, string.
Integer.
Okay, let's check it out. It says int. Don't be afraid that because in programming we use int. It is an integer, but we refer it as an int. Okay. Now, if I do the same thing and add this quotation mark, what do you think will
String.
go to the output?
String.
String. Okay, let's go on. It's a string. Now you can see it doesn't print out the entire what is string. It's used str. That's it. The short form to call up. Okay. Now if I say point 45.0
Float.
output.
Float.
String.
String.
No, sir, it's still a string.
Yeah, guys, you have to see that there's a
String.
quotation over here as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So it should be a string. And when I say it's a string, so whatever contains over here, it is not only the alphabetical value, it can also be a numerical value. But unless and until it is inside this double quotation, it will consider as string. That means if I say, hey, I am 45 years old, and we have this. In this particular thing, we can see we have an alphabetical value, we have a numerical value, and we have a special character. So if we print out this thing, the interpreter should get confused. But over here, it won't get confused because until and unless something is inside this quotation mark, it will be considered as a string. Doesn't matter it is a string, doesn't matter it's an integer, doesn't matter it's a special character. So when we run this up, we're going to get the output as string. Okay, now if we write as type as 45.0, what will going to be the output, guys?
Float.
Float.
Okay, let's check this up. Exactly, that's the float. Okay, cool. Now let's take some exercise and let's see, are we going to get it or not? Okay. I have some conventions over here. Let me just type it down. I'll say I have certain numbers. Okay, this thing. Now I assign this number as a is equals to this. Okay, is equals to this, equals to this, equals to this, and finally, last but not the least, is equals to this. Okay. Now I am assigning a variable, and whatever I am assigning a variable was the type of that particular thing. Could you tell me?
Integer.
It's an integer. Cool. So now, if I say I want to find out the salary, the average of the salary, A gets 1200, B gets 2000, and C gets 800, D gets 1500, and E gets 1700. Now I want to find out what is the average of the entire salary they gets. Okay, so how can I do that?
Take a
Addition
variable.
of all these.
So addition of all the variables
All
and the
this
answer
divided by the
variable
number.
divided by 5.
Inbuilt AVG function.
Addition of all this. Okay, let's me call as A. You want me to do this? A plus B plus C plus D and plus C. That's it. And
The whole divided by 5.
Divided by 5.
Since it's 5 observations.
We should use the bracket.
a whole divided by
5.
5. Let's see what is going to be the answer. Can anyone tell me?
1440.
1440.
Are you sure?
1440.0.
Okay.
1440.0.
Okay, that's more precise. Let's see. 1440.0 exactly. So over here we have we haven't using print over here as well, but still it printed out. You know how why? What is A? What is B and C? You know what is this variable? What is the data type of this? You know what's the data type of this? And cool. Okay, so we have covered out variables. We have covered out the assignments and what exactly the print function does. Now let's move on. We have already discussed about the assignment operator as well, right? These are the arithmetical assignment operators. Okay, these are the arithmetical operators. Now let's talk about some assignment operators. Okay, let's take operators. Cool. So what exactly is an assignment operator? When I say assignment, what exactly does the word assigns to you?
Assigning a value.
Assigning a value.
Assigning a value, giving a particular thing a particular role. I can say that, right? I can say that A, what is A over here? It is a variable right now. Let's consider as a variable A. Okay. Now I'm saying that, hey, I want you to contain a number 24. Now, if I say you want to contain a number 24, that means I'm assigning a value to a variable. And how I am assigning? I'm using this thing, equal. I'm saying, hey, now whenever I'm going to call you at any point of time, whenever I'm going to call you where, that means you have to say that you are contained 24. Now 24 and where shares the same attribute and shares the same ID. Okay. Now the assignment operator that we are talking about is one being is the equal. We say that it uses when you want to assign anything to any variable, anything into part or whatsoever. Now tell me, if I use this thing, one and one more, what does this thing mean?
It is comparison.
Equality.
Comparison.
Exactly.
Equality of LHS and RHS.
Exactly. It means that you are a comparing operator. That means I'm saying that, hey, if A is 12 and B is 14. Suppose. Now, if I say A is equals to B, and if I say A equals to B, okay, let's talk about the first thing. If I print this thing, what exactly does this thing is doing? Please, anyone?
Making A equal to
A
14.
is getting assigned the value of
A
P.
is equal to is for assignment,
A is
whereas
given
double
the
equal
value
to
of
is to
B.
check.
Will come as 14.
Okay.
A
The
becomes 14.
comparison.
So here A will be assigned the value what is contained in B. So A's new value will be 14.
Okay, okay, cool. So what exactly it is doing? First of all, I'm saying that, hey, A, I'm giving you 12, a data type 12. Oh, sorry, not a data type, but a value 12 or data type as a string or as an integer. Similarly to B. Now A value is being 12 and B value is being 14. So whenever, if I'm calling at any point, if I'm calling, hey, print me the A. So what will it will going to print me? It will going to print me the content that has been contained in this particular variable, that is 12. Now we have already seen that it is an assignment operator. It tells the variable that now, for now onward, whenever I call you, you have to present this thing. So over here, if I'm saying A is equals to B, that means I'm saying to A, from now onwards, you are not remain to be containing the value of 12, but now onwards, you will going to contain the value, whatever value. It is not something that you are now your value is from 12 to 14. Nope. But it is telling the particular variable that from now onwards, your whenever I call you, you should contain the content of the variable B. So let me run this part. And now if I run A, what do you think will going to be my answer?
14.
14.
It will be 14. See, now the operator has changed. The assignment has been changed. Earlier, this person who has the value name as 12. Now it is showing me the value of 14. If I say that now the A is the value of A has been changed from 12 to 14, that is not the right thing to say. The right thing to say that A has the value of B. That's it. Because it someday might happen that if I change the value of B as well, this one. Now if I run A, what do you think will going to be my output?
15.
15.
Come on, guys, please.
15.
14.
15.
50. How many say 50? Okay. Is there anyone who say 14?
14, sir.
14. Why 14?
Because it's in a
Because
separate
we
block
haven't
and
run the
as per the
prepare.
data block.
You still haven't run A is equal to
Exactly. You are guys paying attention. That's really great because I still haven't run this shell. I still haven't run this assignment shell. So now if I print A, the output will remain be the 12, not 14. Why not 14? Because I have run this. At first it was 12. Now it is printing me 12 as well. If I would have done like this, 14. Now A is equals to 14. Okay. And now if I print the value of A, it is 14. But if I say now A is equals to B, okay, now I say B plus 1. What is going to be my answer or the output if I run this shell?
15.
15.
No, it won't be 15 because
It'll
I
be
haven't.
14. Because you haven't
It'll
run
be
the
14.
first block
Exactly.
which
It'll
has
still
A
be
is equal to B
14.
plus 1.
Exactly, because I haven't run this shell. Okay, let's see, it is remain with the 14. But what if I run this shell? Now what will going to be the output?
Now it's 15.
15.
Now it's 15. See, that's how is these operators. You can do a lot of things in these operators. What happens over here? First, B's value has been assigned to A. Now A has become 14. The value of the A has been become 14. Now I say that, hey, whatever the value of B, just add 1. And that's how we have add. Okay. Now the value changes from 14 to 15. So we have got 15. Now this is a equal to. If I say A equals to B. Okay, now I have run the shell as well. So what will going to be the output?
false.
False. Okay. But why false? What exactly is happening over here? Because false
Both of the value are not same.
Is comparing
exactly,
the
Comparing,
LHS and
it's comparing the
RHS.
values.
exactly
Comparing the value.
is it is comparing the value. Okay, so if I have A, if A also have the same value and B have the same value, I would have seen over here true, right? Let's check one more quiz. 12 equals to 12. What will going to be the output?
It's
True.
True.
Cool. Okay. How about if I say now?
False.
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 Sure.
One is
Okay.
string, one is integer.
Yes, one is a string and the other is a integer, so both are not the same.
Second is integer.
Exactly,
False.
exactly. That's the thing. It also checks that for the data type as well. It is for the string, it is for the integer. That's how it goes. Okay. Now a quick exercise for the sign operator. Let me do one more operator. What does this sign means?
Greater than.
Greater than.
Cool. It
Greater than.
means
Greater than.
greater than. This means, come on guys,
Is
Then
then.
sign.
Less than.
less than. And how about this means? We have
Greater than.
Greater than or
Greater than
equal
equal
to.
to.
Okay, now this is greater than and
Equal to.
equal to. And how about this thing?
Less than equal
Less
to.
than
Less than
equal.
equal to.
Less than equal to. Cool. Okay, so let me say 56 is greater than 67. Tell me the output.
False.
False.
False. Now understand this true and false, how we are getting this true and false. It is also one of the data type. Okay.
Boolean.
Boolean
Boolean.
expression.
Data type
Yeah.
that we have discussed, mentioned over somewhere over here. Did we? Yeah, over here. Yep. It's Boolean. Okay, Boolean always returns two things. One being the true, another being the false. That's it. Okay, it doesn't return anything else rather than this thing. Okay, if I say 126 is greater and equal to 126.
It's true.
True.
Okay. How about this thing? If I remove this and now.
False.
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 Okay, let's check this out. Cool. Because 126 and 126 are at the equivalent, and one of the thing cannot be greater than another thing, so it should be at this point. Okay. Now the major thing that we are going to discuss now, we have talked about the variable. Now the main thing is naming the variables. Okay, this is the thing that we have to take in mind while we always code. Okay, now a is equals to 16. Tell me, what is this?
Variable.
Variable.
It's a variable.
Name of the variable.
It's a name of the variable. Cool. It's a variable. It's a name of the variable. But while naming a variable, you have to, have certain things in mind. You cannot ever, write the name of the variable as 987. Can I do this?
No.
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I cannot do this because if I do this, it's already changed the form, right? Okay, what if I run this up? Do you think if I am getting any error or it will gonna pass this up?
False.
It will be error.
Invalid.
It will be error.
Invalid.
Invalid very.
Okay, it says cannot assign to literal. It cannot assign this. It cannot assign this 14 to this part. Okay, so I'm going to add some of the rules that we are going to see while having the naming convention. Okay, sorry. So let's see rule number 1. It says that you should start variable name with an alphabet or underscore character. That's the particular thing that you have to take in mind whenever you are assigning something. Let's say this is a variable name and I'm assigning hello world. Okay, now over here whatever I have to put, I have only two choices. if I have to start it up, it could either be with an underscore, and then I can follow up with random names whatsoever I want, or it could be only the alphabetical value. By naming that alphabetical value, it means that it will be only via alphabets. Like I say alpha, I can name it as Sahil, I can name it as shape, or even I can name it as A as well. Okay, you cannot start or assign a variable name with an integer value or a number. You cannot do that either way with the help of the special character as well. See. Okay. Next thing says that a variable name can only contain capital A to Z, small a to Z, 0 to 9, and an underscore. So first we have got that if our name is of like shape, SHAP, shape. Shape. Now, when you are assigning a variable, this thing, you can see the S. This is the foremost letter that has been starting for the variable. It cannot contain as an integer. It cannot contain as a special character. It should always be underscore. It should always be an alphabet. And if you satisfy this, after that you can do anything. You can write like shape underscore AI as well. It will gonna pass that up, because that's how you can do it. But you cannot do with the help of like integer or something. Okay. Now, one more thing that I want to add in this concept is that a variable name cannot be as identical as any function name. The built-in function name, more specifically, it cannot be as a data type. Okay, what I mean that suppose we have seen a name as print, or we have seen the name as type. Okay, now this thing cannot be named as typ type. Why? Because this type is a built-in function of Python. So a variable name cannot be named as a built-in function of Python or any programming language, that you have to take care of. Okay, suppose in the last line you can see, do not use the reserve keyword as a variable name. For example, the class, the for, the dev, del is, and there are plenty more. Okay, you cannot use that. Okay, now some might it might arise a question, what if, like, if I want to assign a variable, then is there any pamphlet, is there any structure that will gonna tell me like which name is been available and which name do I have to write? Suppose can I write as list is equals to hello world? No, I cannot, because list is already being a data type of a Python. It has already been a part of Python, built-in function of a Python, so it cannot be used. Okay, for this, always remember that as we go forward and forward, we're going to understand what exactly the things that we have avoided while naming the convention for a variable. Okay, so let's have a quiz. Okay, x is equals to 2. Is it a right way of having a convention or not?
Right.
Right.
So, right way.
That's right.
Okay, let's check. Okay, it didn't show me an error. It is right. Okay, how about this?
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Also
correct.
It's right.
Right way.
Okay, Python is equals to 2. Now say it's Python is equals to 2.
Yes.
It's also right.
It's right.
It's also right, sir.
Right way.
Sorry, I didn't get that because
It's right.
yeah,
Correct.
Right way. It's
it
not
is
in
a
reserve
right way.
mode.
Okay, how about Python is equals to 2? Now make sure that
Yeah,
add is
it's
underscore.
right.
It
It's
is
correct.
correct.
Okay, let's check. Okay, cool. How about this? How about this?
Right
It's
way.
also
Yeah, it's
correct.
It's
again
correct,
correct, sir.
sir.
It's also right.
It's also right. Okay. Okay, that's great. Now, over here we have understand this thing. It says that it can contain 0 to 9 only after, not at the before, and not at the starting point. So,
Also right.
sorry. Hello.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Okay. Now, if I say 9 underscore Python is equals to
Wrong, sir.
Incorrect,
Wrong.
sir.
It's
Incorrect.
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 Wrong.
Incorrect.
okay, let's check. Exactly. It shows an invalid token because it is not the way that we do. Okay, let's comment this out. And what about if I say 9 and then I say Python?
Yeah,
Then
it's
it's
correct.
correct.
It's correct.
It's correct.
Okay, let's check. It is correct because in the rule number 2 it states that it can
You
contain
can
0 to 9,
start a
but only and only afterwards. But this, at the starting point, it cannot start with any of the special characters or the numerical values. Okay. Okay, let's talk about PYTH is equals to 56.
Wrong, sir.
Invalid,
Invalid.
sir.
Invalid.
The character is correct.
Invalid, sir.
It's wrong. Cannot assign to operator, but why? Can anyone
So
tell me?
special
We
character.
have used a special character.
Special
Exactly.
character
Rule
already
number 2, it's
understood
already
is
mentioned.
so incorrect.
Exactly. Special character cannot be used. How about if I say type is equals to hello world?
Wrong way.
Incorrect.
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 Why
No,
incorrect?
because type is a
Type is a
keyword.
keyword.
Type is a
It is
resource
already
keyword.
as
Data type.
Exactly. This is the keyword for the Python built-in function already. But it accepted. But why? Can anyone tell me?
Because it will be considered as a container. However, later when you try to
But
use
what
it
if
as
I
a
write
built-in
over
function,
here?
it is error.
Sorry.
No, if we assign it as a variable in a certain block over here in the collaborator and use it again, it's likely to raise an error.
Your voice is a bit low. Could you just repeat yourself once more?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now, please.
Yeah, I said that if in the same block, if you were to use type as a variable and then try to use type to let's say to check the type of a particular a certain other variable, then it would raise an error, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the thing. You should take in consideration. You should never do this. Okay, you should never take type. You should never take for, because for is also one being, when we are going to study about the loops, we're going to experience that we should not use that, because in particular time, in a short run, it might works definitely, but in a longer way, when you are doing and we are calling this up, it won't gonna happen. Okay, let me check over here. See. Okay, this is showing that's an invalid because for cannot be like that. Okay, so you have to take this in consideration. Okay, so let's check about one exercise. It's time for an exercise. Let's see who's gonna do that. If it's a very basic exercise, let's see. P is equals to 1400, Q is equals to 1920, and let it be E is equals to 1300. Okay, now I want the following equation to be carried out. P raised to power 2 minus Q into E is equals to 14309. So tell me the output, guys.
False.
False.
False. Okay. Any more answers?
False.
Okay, false. So why not the entire the value? Why false?
Double time equal to.
Exactly. This is the assignment operator that we have already set in the assignment operator. This is a comparison operator we have studied in the assignment. Let's check this up. False. Okay. Now, if I say A is equals to, suppose let's take it as a variable name. I say that this variable name is a salary. Okay. Now my salary is 1200. Okay. Now after tax deduction, this is a tax. Now tax has been assigned as, I would say, tax might be assigned as 100 rupees. Okay. Now I assign a variable as after tax deduct is equals to salary minus tax. Now, could you just tell me what is going to be the value of after tax deduct.
1100.
110.
1100.
1100. 700.0.
Okay, so there's a
1100.
conflict now,
Only
whether it's
only
1100 or
1100.
Not
Only 1100.
1100.
1100.
Let's run this up. It's 1100. Okay, suppose if I had 0.20 and I run this cell as well. Now
1090.8.
1080.
1080.
okay, now you can see we are getting it's in a float value. Okay, because we have been using the float part over here and we have got a float over here. Now if we have got after deduction tax deduction, we have got 119 something. Let's make round of this. Let's round up this one as well. Let's do this up. Now after this thing, I really get upset that I have got so much of tax return. But my boss is a kind man, so he said that okay, I'm going to give you a bonus. Okay, the bonus he's going to give me is the like around like 500 rupees. Now, what is the exact amount after having the bonus?
1600.
1600.
1600.
1600.
Let's check this up. It's 1600 exactly. Cool then. Now, if I have the bonus, I went to home. Now, my mom said that I want to buy a phone, and it costs around like phone price is not the phone price. Let's make it as a share. Okay. Now the share company says, okay, this is a share company. The share company says that whatever amount you have got for this particular month, give to us. We are going to provide the twice the amount after 30 days. Okay, twice the amount after 30 days. Okay, now I feel like yeah, it's really great idea to get the amount doubled. So what I did is I went to the share company and I say that okay, now after 30 days, my amount, the final amount is going to be twice. So what exactly will I have to put over here?
Share company.
Bonus into
Share company.
Share company, because the share company holds the value of 2. Now if I do this and replace this with a share company, now after 30 days, let's see what I'm getting. So what will going to be the output?
3200.
3200. Exactly. That's the thing. Now we have twice the amount. I don't know whether I'm getting this up or not. Okay. Now, suppose I say, let me, okay. So a company came to me and told me that, sir, after a certain period of time, if you give us your final amount that you have got after 30 days, we are going to put it in a share. And if it writes, we're going to provide you 4%. If it didn't, we are going to provide you 0% because we don't have money to pay. Now, what exactly happened is I got a bit more greedy. So what I do is I give this amount to a company, and at the certain point of time, the company, the share drops off. Now, what exactly I'm getting as an output is 0. Okay. Now, what is the answer for this?
0.
It will be 0. Okay. Now see what. Okay, let me just assign this.
30 days.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, it's 0. Okay. Now see if I do this thing and I say divide by 0, because we have already understood by like divide by 2, divide by 3, divide by 4. Now by 0, what is going to be the
Undefined.
Infinity.
Error.
Division is not possible. We'll raise an error.
Zero division error.
Zero division.
Error.
Okay. It will be error. It will no confusion in that, right?
Hello, sir. Sorry, sir. Please repeat again.
Yeah. So I'm saying that if I divide my entire amount that I have got after 30 days by 0, what will going to be the output? Majority have said that it will going to be an error, right?
Zero division error.
More precisely, it is a 0 division error. Okay. So let's check this up. Yeah, this is exactly the thing, 0 division error, division by 0, because anything that has been divided by 0 is considered as infinity, right?
Yes, sir.
How about if I do this thing a more trickier way? 0 divided by after 30 days now.
Will be
Zero.
zero.
Same.
Zero.
0. Any errors?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's think. 0.0, a float value. Okay. So over here you got the concept of the operators and all that. Let's talk about something more on booleans. Booleans is a very creative thing that I love about boolean operators. Okay, as discussed, what does boolean returns?
True
What
True and false.
Either true or false.
Either true or false. Can the boolean value returns both at the same time?
No.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Suppose if I say 126 is greater than equals to 126. Now understand, 126, is it greater than 126?
No.
If I do this thing, what will going to be the answer?
False.
False.
False. But if I do this,
True.
True.
now you can see that the answer has been changed. It cannot be a true or false at the same time. It has to be at 1. Okay. Now, if I say, suppose if I say A as D, this is a variable. I say it is true. Okay. This is true. And if I say PYT is equals to false. Now always understand one thing. I just share my screen. New screen. Do let me know if it is visible. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it's visible.
Okay. One thing. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one thing you have to remember. Let me do this. This is the output. Okay. So you have to remember one thing, that true and true. So this is talking about, we are talking about an operation called OR operation. Okay, there's two operation. There's multiple operation, bitwise and or bitwise or bitwise and. But over here we are talking about only OR and AND. So this is for the AND operations. Okay. Now, what does it do? Okay, suppose I'm having a variable over here. This is the variable A, and this is the variable B. Okay, now it says that if you have a variable A that is true, if you have a variable B that is also true, and if you're performing an OR operation, then the output would always be true. Come on, guys, the output would always be
True.
Output would always be. Because OR says that either of the two or either of the three, if we have a numerous variables also, if we have a variable 3, so OR says that either of the two has to be true, then we should return true. Okay, if we have one variable called as true, another one has been false, then what will going to be the output?
True.
True.
False.
No, it won't be false, because OR says that either of the two has to be true. Okay. Now, if I say that where A and perform an OR operation with where B, the OR operation says that does where A contains true? It says yes, it does contains true. Then it simply returns true because it doesn't even bother to check on the other conditions. So OR says that either of the two condition has to be true. If I having if I have been providing with two condition, one of the condition needs to be true to get an output of true. Okay, if might happen that where A might be false and where B is true, what will going to be the output then?
True.
True.
It will be true because it will check, okay, where A is false. Okay, let me check what's the where B. If where B is also false, I will return false. If where B is true, then I will return true. Now last is if both of my variables is false, what is going to be
False.
the
False.
exactly? This is going to be the false because it will first checks on variable A, it's false. Then the output will be dependent on the last variable. If it is true, it will return true. If it is false, it will return false. So that's for the OR. Okay. Now let's wrap this up. Okay, cool. So now we are going to do something with A and D. This is for the AND operation. Now AND operation strictly says that as in the OR gives you a liberty that either of the two conditional statement or the statement or the variable has to be true. But AND plays is a very serious person and says that I only return true for those whose entire value of all the variables should be true. Okay, that means if where A is true and where B is true, so what will going to be the output if I'm using it will be true. It will be true because AND says that you have to be the two. I don't compensate it. I'm not that much good as OR. I want, if you want me to return something, I want the both of the variables, both of the statement return the same values, then only I'm returning that same thing. Okay. Now in the second part, I am having true for the variable A and false for the variable B.
It will be false. Output will be false.
It will be the false. Exactly. It will not longer be the true because
One of the statement is means variable B is false. That's right.
exactly. Not exactly the variable B is false, even though it happens that variable A is also false. Okay. The AND says that both of the statements should share the same output. Okay. Okay. So this will be false. It says no, it won't be false. I want the true, then I'm returning true only if the both of the variables will going to return me true. Now let's see on the third part. What will going to be the output for the third?
It will be false.
It will be false. Yeah, because none of the both the either of the both are returning different values. Okay. Now it will be returned false. Now in the last part, both are sharing the same value. Then the output will be
false.
It will be the false. Cool. So let's check this up over here. If I say ASD is true and PY2 is false. If I say ASD, okay, just a second. Sorry. Is it?
Yeah, it's now.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. If I say ASD, what should I say? Let me try an if statement to let you know. No, I should say ASD is equals to PYT. What is going to be my output?
False.
That's very obvious.
False.
Because neither true is false nor false is true. Right? Now if I say ASD, I can even write this conditional statement as this as well. ASD is PYT, because I've already told you that Python is much more similar than the English language. Okay. Now ASD is PYT. So what will going to be the answer?
False.
False.
It will going to be the false. Now let's introduce one more, actor in our language. If I copy this up and I say this is not the not keyword. Now what is going to be?
It will be true.
It will be the true, because what exactly it is saying, ASD is not PYT. So it is simple English language, right? It is simply saying that this is not this. The value of this is not this. Yeah, the value of this is not this. So the boolean will gonna return me the true. Okay. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Now if I say that will going okay. Now I have given you a glimpse of or and this is the more important, because when we are using the if and else part, this will going to be a very helpful thing. We are going to use the boolean in that as well. We are going to use this or and operation as well. So let's summarize what exactly did we have learned today. Okay. First of all thing, we have learned about Python. Okay. Second thing, we have learned about the data types. What's the data types? Can you name some data types that we have learned today?
Integer, float,
Integer,
boolean,
float,
string.
Okay.
String.
Integer,
Boolean.
strings, boolean, and
Float.
float as well. For as of now, because and when we are tomorrow, surely we're going to experience some more. They are the majorly ones. They are the lists. They are the dictionary,
Dictionary.
tuples, and the last one being
Set.
set. Now, believe me, guys, these are the heart of Python. If you get to know this, you can do anything with Python. If this is a major important topic that we are going to discuss for tomorrow. Okay, or this is for the tomorrow. Now, third, we have seen some. Sorry.
Arithmetic operators.
Okay, we have talked about the operators. In operators, we have seen arithmetic.
Assignment
operator.
Arithmetic operators. We have seen
Logical operators.
assignment operators. We have seen logical operators. Okay. Then we have seen that what we have seen then we have seen how the print function works, how the type works, what is
Naming a variable, rules.
what is
What
not,
is compiler?
difference
Naming
between
conventions for a variable.
Compiler and interpreter.
cool, definitely interpreter versus compiler. Now come to 6 point. 6 point is
Naming conventions for a variable.
naming conventions. Anything else that we have learned today?
And
Anything
there are
else?
logic tables.
Logic table. Okay, we can say that logic gates. It has been called as logic tables. Okay. Okay, so these are the things that we have learned today. What exactly we are going to learn tomorrow? Okay, I just moved this part from. We are going to give some glimpse on this. And one more thing we have learned about, like how to do comment. Though it's not a very important topic, but it's very useful. Okay, comments. Cool. So tomorrow we're going to introduce list. What's a dictionary? What's a tuple? What's sets? We are going to do something more with strings. Okay, we have already seen the differentiation between strings and integers and what to call a string and what not to call. And then we are going to experience some, if we got some time, then we're gonna explain that if and else, and we're going to create a project, mini project tomorrow. That will be a calculator. Okay, and many more to come. We're going to discuss it about tomorrow about this. So now it's a break time. We are going to meet at when are we going to meeting? We are going to meeting around
9.
around 9. Okay. You have to come up with your doubts, what exactly doubts you have, so we can sort it out. And then I'm going to give you, you know, homework kind of stuff that you have to do and perform that will be related from today's what we have experienced, and we're gonna take it forward.
Sahil,
Yeah.
can you give us the homework right now? So just in case if we don't have doubt, we don't have to wait.
Oh, I will give the homework at the very beginning of the session. So if you don't have the doubts, you can start with that. Okay, because I think
Okay.
you should need some time and you should need break. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then let's meet at 9 sharp. Cool. That sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, we should leave the meet right now and
It's
again
totally,
join in this link.
it's totally up to you. If you want to stay in the call, you can. If you want to leave and again join at 9 o'clock, it's totally up to you. You have few to choose either the two. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Have some
sir.
rest and see
Thank
you
you
at
so
9.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
Thank you. Bye. See ya.
Thank you, sir.
Sir? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir, in the doubt session, can we clarify the doubts related to Python, or can we clarify them related to career? What I mean is,
Yeah, definitely. You can. You can.
can we ask
Doubt-
the doubts?
Yeah, sure, sure. The doubt session is all about, a casual talk that we can talk about, like what we have to do and how exactly we can do. You can involve that as well if you have some. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you. See you at 9. Bye.
Excuse me, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah, please.
So one more doubt. Actually, is this our second session or first class?
It's the first. It's the first that why I have started a
And
very.
yesterday there was also, I think, a Zoom meeting.
Sorry.
Yesterday there was also a Zoom meeting, no?
No. Today is the first class. Today we have started out with the first class. Hello.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you. See you at 9. Bye.
Sure. Thank you.